Guten Tag, hallo.
Hello, I'm Peter Gacken, your trainer from the Kettler Trainer team, and I'd like to present a new training tool from Kettler to you today.
Aus dem Hause Kettler vorstellen.
This training system is the Kettler Sling Trainer, a training system that takes into account the functional training aaspect more than any other.
berücksichtigt.
It is highly effective, mobile, and can be used in different ways almost anywhere in the world.
Ist ein Ankerpunkt.
The only thing you need is an anchoring point to fix the rope, and you can get started on your workout straight away. Let's get started now. Today I'm supported by James.
I hope you enjoy the
workout. So let's get started with a warm-up using a leg exercise. Half squats and squats, 5 reps. Very nice. Once more from the bottom to the top. From your lowest squat position up. Excellent. 3, another 2. A simple variation for warming up so that you are really ready for a challenging workout is something like this. The slightly more intense version is to move from this standing on one leg position. James is going to really lower himself as far as he can go now. Your arms also remain extended. The further down you go, the more intense the whole exercise. Let's change sides. Keep your arms extended. It's also important to always maintain the necessary tension on the Sling Trainer. Super. Looks excellent, James. But I think we could challenge James just a little bit more. The even more intense version would be to add another training tool. For example, the Kettler Balance Step.
Den Kettler Balance Step.
Here we place the balance step on the blue side. The blue surface is on the floor. And James stands here on the balance step and balances himself. Now go into the low squat position like in the start sequence. And to make it even more intense, you can also integrate your upper body into the exercise. This means we are now working from the bottom up from the half squat position. And as we do this, we can open up our posture, pushing the shoulder blades together, working out our upper body at the same time. Yes, James is very fit, but it's going to get a bit more challenging. Everything okay? Everything still all right? Excellent. As I said, those are the different versions to make a warm-up a bit more intense. As a rule, you would usually start with the easier version. Okay, thanks, James. We're going to move on in a moment. Don't hold the position for too long. The next exercise is for the upper body, in fact, the chest muscles. James will demonstrate again. Once in the easy version, the posture is relatively upright. In this training system, the more upright the position, the easier the exercise. Whenever we change position, your feet go further back. James moves down lower. The exercise is then much more intense. In this way, you can also adapt the exercise to your individual level of fitness. This means the higher up you stand with this exercise, the easier it will be. The more you move horizontally down, the harder it will be. You still okay? Everything all right? Good, let's carry on then. We've just worked out the chest muscles, which are well developed. Very nice. Now we are going to get into the rowing position. Here is the easy version again, from a standing position where it's a bit easier again. And then the change again to the more intense version. Okay, elbows as far back as you can go. Shoulder blades together. James will now demonstrate the more intense version again. James also does this very well. Straight line, lower body, upper body. Keep your whole body tense, shoulder blades together, chest out.
Brustbein nach vorne. Sehr gut.
Excellent. Short break, relax. The next exercise. We now come to some more targeted exercises. First of all for the biceps, and then for the triceps. If possible, you should do these exercises relatively quickly, one after the other. These are called supersets. This will make the whole workout more intense. Let's start with the slightly easier version. That means in a more upright standing position again. Bicep curls, easy. Keep your elbows very close to your upper body. Okay. And we move our hands from the position close to our upper body up to our chin. Exactly. You can also tilt slightly forwards on your toes or backwards on your heels. When you stand upright again, your foot is then flat on the floor again. It's very important not to tilt too far forwards as the tension is then lost in the rope. It's very important to always remember to maintain enough tension on the rope. Now the more difficult version, James has already moved slightly further forwards. He's shifted his center of gravity downwards. This makes the exercise much more intense. So, James, could you turn around a minute? As I said, we are now working out from the biceps to the triceps. We'll start again with the slightly easier version, with the triceps version. More from a standing position. Your head should be between your lower arms. And James is already extending his arms out upwards very nicely. We'll now make it a bit more intense. Further back. What's important here is that the elbows are facing the floor, okay? So that the elbows are directed at the floor. This makes the whole thing a bit more intense. And exhale here again when it gets particularly difficult. And then inhale. Always exhale at the point where you overcome the weight. Exhale is a good catchword. Let's take a short break. It's also very important to pay attention to your breathing during a workout. Exhale during the difficult phases of the exercise and then inhale as it gets easier. The next exercise that we're going to do is an exercise for the abdominal muscles. This is a good version for doing the abdominal muscles exercise standing up. This relieves the cervical spine a bit. We then work out from this position. Using one hand, as this is also something that you can do really well in the Sling Trainer. We pull up here using one hand. The grips can then be pushed upwards and outwards here. So there we go. Just like that, push up from the position. So now we are only working out from the loops. And now in one-handed mode, take it with just one hand. The turn to the side is slightly easier from this position. We now follow the arm movement and work out the oblique abdominal muscles. Again, exhale, inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. This is very important. Let's change sides. Good, James. Excellent, excellent. And the last few reps. Come on, you can do it. Very nice. We've now given the upper body an excellent workout using 5-6 exercises. Very nice. And the last few reps. Super. So now we move on from the standing exercises to the floor exercises. There are also a number of exercises on the floor that can be done using the Sling Trainer. The loops are adjusted for this. This simply means you push the grip up so that a loop forms here, and then put your feet through the loops. James will demonstrate this on the floor. But we'll get a Kettler mat for this, which James can position himself on. There you go, James. Push the grips up. We now have the loops here. And here on the side, very nice. So the first exercise on the floor, the cycling exercise, is relatively easy. Raise your hips off the floor. Now alternately bring your knees towards your chest. Very nice. A bit higher. What's important is that you don't drop your buttocks. There must also be tension in your upper body, lower body, and a straight line. Creating tension is very important with all exercises. Functional training also includes the training of different muscle groups, which means we also need good muscle tension. Also specifically with these exercises. Take a short break, James, so that we really have the ideal position in the exercise. The next exercise is slightly more difficult. For this, we also need to adjust the Sling Trainer slightly. You need to get out of it briefly, James. You can adjust the rope here so that we can change the rope length slightly.
In der Position.
Move the position up slightly higher for the next exercise that James is doing here.
Dann
James can now get back into the loops.
in dieser Position.
The hand grips are placed under the feet in this position.
Und wir haben die nächste
Here's the next exercise where we are now integrating the back, upper thigh muscles a bit more. Raise your hips off the floor, raise your knees, and lower them again. We now have much more tension on the back, upper thigh muscles. The slightly more intense version for the first exercise that we saw before. Okay, James, super.
Jetzt wird's gleich aber
Now it's going to get a bit more difficult though when we move on to push-ups and do the next exercises from this position. Okay, let's go.
auch hier
We can change the loops in the Sling Trainer here as well.
verändern. Das heißt auch die
This means we can adjust the length depending on the suspension point. We can also reduce or extend the rope system slightly.
Verkleinern oder dann vergrößern. Wir arbeiten jetzt in der
In the first exercise, we are now working on the floor in the somewhat easier version from the position of the chest press.
die Großpresse. Okay,
Okay,
tief nach unten. Auf
as low as you can go. Keep the line. Upper body, lower body.
Wir haben jetzt als nächstes
From this position, we now have a basic position on the floor.
haben wir aus diesem
From this position, we have various options to combine different exercises or do them in isolation.
die nächste
The next exercise that we are going to do from this position is an abdominal exercise, pulling your knees towards your chest. Okay, James, let's go.
so haben wir auch immer
With this, we always have constant tension in our trunk.
Übung ist sehr
The
intensiv.
exercise is very intense.
Hier Richtung
Pull your knees towards your chest.
Oberkörper
Tense your upper body.
wichtig dabei.
Pay attention to your breathing here as well. Inhale and exhale.
Die Übungen sind jetzt etwas
The exercises are now more intense on the floor. Therefore, feel free to take a longer break.
ein- und aus
Inhale and exhale so that you can then work towards the next level.
Level zuzusteuern. Das heißt, wir
That means we are now going to move from the push-up version to the crunch movement.
die Crunch-Bewegung, die
The slightly
noch
more intense version of the crunch is the position where we now raise our buttocks up as far as we can.
das Gesäß ganz nach oben hochstrecken. James, geh noch
James, could you assume the basic position for us, please?
einmal. Hier gehen wir richtig
This means we really raise our body up and have a very high position.
kurz halten.
Hold this position briefly and lower slowly. This is really an exercise for the advanced.
Sehr intensiv
Very intense in the start sequence.
in der Anfangssequenz. Erstmal
Start off somewhat more sedately, as in the exercise before. And then later on, when your fitness has improved, you can progress to this exercise.
die noch etwas
The even more intense version is now to combine both of these exercises.
Geschichten zu kombinieren. Heißt einmal aus dem
So a
Push-Up
push-up
heraus, Liegestütz
and then a crunch.
und dann die Knie anzuziehen. Genau.
Exactly. Push up and crunch.
So kann man halt
This is how easy it is to combine exercises on the Sling Trainer, which is of course extremely effective.
so arbeiten verschiedene
In this way, different muscles work together, muscle groups work together, so that we then have continuously high tension and work out optimally and effectively.
Muskeln.
Hard work?
Okay.
Was it okay? Okay, excellent. This is a really small sequence of exercises that you can do on the floor.
In der Mehrzeit,
In the majority, the start phase exercise is also done in a standing position.
als Empfehlung
It's recommended, especially in the earlier version, that 15 to 20 minutes twice or 3 times a week is plenty when doing it just as James showed.
Minuten aus.
In the more intense version, as you've just seen, and also in the individual sequences where we slightly change the position to the suspension point, 10 to 15 reps 2 or 3 times a week are then also enough for the advanced. This is a full body workout. This means that the muscles naturally have to recover and regenerate to achieve growth. Have fun working out, and I hope to see you again soon at Kettler Training. Thank you. Thanks, James.